Jordan Poyer is out of Buffalo as I hold my signed, autographed Jordan Poyer picture here. I've been such a fan of him ever since he came to Buffalo. Like, there's no coincidence. Part of the drought, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, it looks like are both going to be out of Buffalo for the 2024 season. This is just, it's crazy. Like, Brandon Beane had to make a move. You know, we had to do it for cap purposes. And I think Jordan Poyer still is clearly a little bit more in the tank than Micah Hyde, but definitely on the wrong side of their career, being up in age. And, you know, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The Bills clearly now have two massive holes on the back end of this defense. I think it definitely opens up the door for Christian Benford, potentially Trey White, Kyer Elam to switch into that safety spot. Definitely opens the door for the Buffalo Bills to either draft a safety. I think that's clear as day that we're going to be drafting a safety in this year's NFL draft. I mean, we still have DeMar Hamlin. Maybe we get Cam Lewis back on a reasonable deal, a lot more reasonable than Jordan Poyer or Micah Hyde. But, you know, having the worst salary cap situation in the NFL, I think writing was on the wall. Like, we had to make some additional moves here, even with the cap going up the way it went up. Like, Brandon Beane, extremely happy with how far it went up, but it just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And, you know, something inside me always thought that, you know, it was always going to be Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. Like, they were always going to be together, you know, and the fact that Micah Hyde is probably going to be retiring and not coming back to the NFL, or maybe going to a different team, kind of just like, I couldn't envision this team without Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde together. You know, after spending so many years together on the same team, I was just kind of like, there's no way that, you know, I just couldn't even envision it. And sure enough, we're not going to be envisioning that. Adam Schefter reporting that Jordan Poyer is going to be released by the Buffalo Bills, saving quite a bit of cap space. You know, Poyer hit free agency last year thinking he was going to get paid, and he really didn't get the money that he thought he would get. So he came back to the Buffalo Bills for a still pretty hefty salary for a 2-year deal. So the Bills really structured things with him. And obviously, I think his salary was around $7 million per year. I mean, it's definitely a lot of money for an older type safety. And I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Jordan Poyer. Actually collaborated with them a couple years ago on one of his videos, and just a huge fan. I'm just such a huge fan. It's so sad to see Jordan Poyer go. But again, this is really going to open the door up for other players on this team, like Christian Benford moving over to the safety spot. Been talking about this in previous videos. Potentially Trey White. You know, I think maybe cornerbacks clearly get more money than safeties, right? And I think cornerbacks, they want to get paid as a cornerback before transitioning to the safety spot. But we have to really look at it. Like, Trey White has already gotten paid as a corner. He's coming off an ACL. He's coming off an Achilles. Like, how fast and rangy is he ultimately going to be hanging with number one wide receivers versus just like a shell type safety over the top? You know, I think that should definitely help out Trey White. Clearly understands this defense and the communication between Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer and Trey White throughout all of these years. I really am liking that. And Christian Benford, it's ultimately going to boil down to what he wants. Is he willing to move to that safety spot after just balling out at the cornerback spot? Rasul Douglas is another one, too, that may consider switching to the safety spot as well. So, I mean, we definitely have some pieces in the secondary here that could definitely fill these holes. And I don't know. I mean, it's going to just be tough to fill the fact that they worked together for freaking 7 years, Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. Like, the communication, I don't think you could ever see that again on this Buffalo Bills franchise from a communication standpoint. So it's really going to boil down to overall athletic ability, making plays, game-changing plays, something that we need, like more turnovers, more forced fumbles, more interceptions. Like, we need a lot more out of that safety spot. And, you know, I think Jordan Poyer definitely did a lot. I mean, he got snubbed for so many years not going to the Pro Bowl, especially when you look at the stats, his total tackles, just pass deflections and breakups, just everything that he did, even interceptions. I mean, Jordan Poyer was balling out of control. He was balling out of control. Even Micah Hyde, we reflect back to all the highlights that they had. I mean, Micah Hyde in that interception in the playoffs on Mac Jones, the onside kick, everyone was calling Micah Hyde Air Hyde. Jordan Poyer, all his interceptions, I always said he was like a chameleon tongue or a frog tongue plucking flies out of the air, like plucking that football right out of the air. It's an end of an era. It's an end of an era. And, we really, as Bills fans, need to start cherishing the players that we have and the time that they're here. Like clearly nothing lasts forever. And clearly things, especially in the NFL, the page can turn awfully fast. And, I just hope that they know how much we respected them throughout these years. I hope they sense that from the Buffalo Bills fans. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, they mean the absolute world. Breaking a 17-year playoff drought, I will never, ever forget them. Living through that playoff drought, living through the Music City Miracle. The first game I ever attended was Jim Kelly's last in that wild card loss against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tom Coughlin and the Jaguars was a head coach at that time. And, I lived through it all. I experienced it all. And sure enough, Sean McDermott comes to Buffalo. I see him in a restaurant before the season even started with my brother on my birthday, and I was like, dang. And I never saw Rex Ryan. I never saw any coach like that. Dick Duran, all the coaches that came and went, Chan Gailey, I never saw any of them. And sure enough, I see Sean McDermott, and he was on the phone talking business. Nothing but business. He's like, I don't know if I like that. And I was like, damn, this dude is freaking for real. He's for real. And the first couple free agent signings were Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. Sure enough, that upcoming year with Tyrod Taylor, depending on Leslie Frazier's defense and Sean McDermott, Kyle Williams getting that handoff, and the Dalton Dart. And dang, man, we really turned the page. And a big credit to Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. It would not have happened without Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. So appreciate them. I appreciate you, Jordan Poyer. I appreciate you, Micah Hyde. You guys are forever OGs, Buffalo, New York, Buffalo Bills OGs. You have cemented yourselves in history here. Man, I will never, ever forget you. And I'm holding on to this bad boy for an awfully, awfully long time. Appreciate you guys all so much. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, drop your comments down below, your thoughts about Jordan Poyer being released by Adam Schefter, per Adam Schefter. It's a new era, Buffalo. It's a new era. Hit like, subscribe, go Bills.